Did T-Red help you out at St. Charles Parish Prison too? I never was around T-Red. T-Red was never at St. Charles while you were there, right? No. While you're writing this letter, claiming that you are writing the letter and mentioning Jasmine, you're throwing T-Red in there. You claim you're doing it so you can get moved around without any trouble at St. Charles Parish. I said, and T-Red is in St. Bernard, right? 80 miles away. T-Red has got nothing to do with your situation in St. Charles Parish Prison, right? Right. So when you told this jury you wrote this letter to get moved somewhere in St. Charles Prison, that was a big fat lie, wasn't it? That's what you say it is, not to me. You wrote this letter because you were sitting in your prison cell after 3 years, actually feeling bad for what you had done, implicating my client, Jasmine Perry, correct? I feel bad for telling on him. I feel bad for telling on all of them. Well, no, you don't. You said you want them to go to trial so you can maximize your cut time. I said I didn't care if they go to trial. No, you said you wanted them to go to trial. If they're going to go, let them go. Then let's go down. I think I can cover it here. I'm going to underline a few more words, okay, and then we'll move on, sir. You said, I did what I did out of anger. You see that? Yes. Is that another lie? Yes. Just part of the story? Part of the story. So, everything you wrote in this letter to Jasmine that day is just a lie, correct? Yes. Did you ever write him back and say, Jasmine, dude, we're going to trial now. You're not pleading out. That's all lies? No, I never wrote him that. When did you tell Mr. Rainier or Mr. Landrew, the rest of his team, about this idea to write this letter to get you moved to St. Charles Parish Prison? Say it again. When did you tell these folks at the table, Team USA, that you were going to write this letter? No, sir. Did you admit to them that you wrote this letter? Yes, sir. You admitted to them you wrote the letter because I gave them the letter. Do you know that, sir? Yes, sir. You were busted, right? Busted for what? I wrote a letter. What's the big deal? Look, they are not your lawyers, okay? They are the government lawyers. I know. When they found out that you wrote that letter and I got a copy of it, they were mad at you, right? No. They said, Darryl, what are you doing? Right? No. Don't write letters to Jasmine Perry or any of these other guys. They told you that, didn't they? They told me don't write no letters. They weren't mad at you? No, they weren't mad at me. They didn't say, Darryl, you keep writing these letters, maybe speaking the truth. That's going to negatively impact your time cut. We can't have you doing that. They told you that, didn't they? No, they didn't. Were they happy with you for writing this letter? They didn't care. There wasn't nothing to it. But we can agree on this, sir. They said, don't do it again. Don't write no letters. Thank you, sir. You can pull it down. Now, in your direct examination, both late yesterday afternoon and this morning, you covered some specific crimes, some information you gave to the government about Jasmine Perry and some of the other defendants. Do you recall that, sir? Yes, sir. I think one of the murder victims you testified about was an individual by the name of Terrence Dennis. Do you recall that testimony, sir? Yes, sir. Dennis was a man who was murdered in the 8th Ward, according to your testimony. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. You testified that Dennis was killed by Jasmine Perry, yes, sir, on the order of Ashton Pound Price. Correct? Yes, sir. You testified that Terrence Dennis was killed with an assault rifle. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. You testified that you were alongside in a white Impala. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. Now, you signed a plea agreement on October 25th, 2013. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. At that time, that's when you started having all of your meetings with the government. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. Giving them the information. Correct, sir? Say it again. giving them the information. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. Informational meetings. I think what you said before the lunch break was, except for your bigger role in the murder of Calvin Celestine, Plucky, and one other thing, that you gave the government all the information in 2013, October of 2013. Do you recall that testimony, sir? Yes. That is, you didn't hold back, correct, sir? Yes. Yes, but it didn't take one day to give all the information. They was coming on numerous times, constantly coming. But that was back after you pled in October 2013, right? Yes, sir. I'm not saying it was in one meeting or 1 hour or one call. I know it's a lot of information. You've been on the stand a long time repeating it, right, sir? Yes, sir. But this was in October 2013, right? What was? The plea agreement when I signed? Yeah, when you're sharing all this information. Yes, sir. The victim we're talking about here, Terrence Dennis, he's not Calvin Celestine. He's not Plucky, right? No, sir. Sir, isn't it true at your meetings back in October of 2013, you told the government, these agents seated at this table who took notes of your meetings, that Rabbit killed Terrence Dennis? I never told them that Rabbit killed Terrence Dennis. You never said that Rabbit and Pound shot a ride or die in the 8th Ward and that Rabbit used your AR? You didn't tell that to the agents? I don't know the guy's name, but I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't the one that we did when we was in the Impala. I didn't say that. You don't recall, sir, that in your first meetings with the government back in 2013 when you spoke about Terrence Dennis, you said Rabbit and Pound committed those murders and you didn't even mention Jasmine Perry? I don't know Terrence Dennis. I don't know Terrence Dennis I know him by face, but I didn't know him by name. I know his face. So I probably did, but which I was meaning was the murder that Pound and Rabbit did when they had the 223 and the AR. That's 2 guns. That murder there I'm talking about with Terrence Dennis was used with 1 gun, a rifle. Terrence Dennis was a ride or die guy in the 8th Ward, right? Yes. Now, when that ride or die got shot up in the 8th Ward, maybe they are here today, maybe they're not. I can't tell. But when there are murders in town, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, has a beat writer on the crime scene, and they write about murders, right? I'm going to object to hearsay. I'm asking him if he knows about it. He hasn't asked a question yet. Go ahead and ask the question. Are you aware of that, sir? No. Do you ever read NOLA.com? Off and on when I want to see something, but I'm not no big fan to go reading it. No. I'll read it though. I think you said you get information when you were out on the street, 2010, 2011, when you were riding high. I think you said you might have been dating an NOPD dispatcher. Do you recall that testimony? Yes. So, from a dispatcher, from the TV news, from the newspaper, from word on the street, would you get information about NOPD investigations, suspects, who they were looking for, that kind of stuff? No. So you never heard, following the Terrence Dennis murder, that the NOPD had identified a suspect based on eyewitness testimony, that the man who shot Terrence Dennis had dreadlocks? Did I ever hear about that? Yes. No, sir. You're aware, sir, though, when Rabbit, he was on the run, he left Atlanta, heard the feds were looking for him. I'm sorry, he left Miami. When you were there for Memorial Day weekend 2011, he's fleeing from the government. Rabbit is ultimately caught about a month later in a hotel in Atlanta. Correct, sir? Yes. Are you aware when Rabbit was captured by an FBI agent from the Atlanta field office that they found on him a dreadlock wig? Yes. Were you aware Rabbit would wear dreadlock wigs? I know he wore it when he was wanted. Did Rabbit wear dreadlock wigs when he was committing murders? No, not that I know. Not that you know of, huh? You know a lot, but you don't know about that, right, Mr. Franklin? Argumentative counsel. Come on, you know better. Now, Isn't it true, sir, that when you told the government Ashton Price was driving the car, that was a lie? Yes. You told that to the government several times, right? A few times, yes. Lying to these men, Mr. Wood and Mr. Ollinger, right? Yes. Your main men, you're lying to them, right? The dudes that could protect you, right? Yes. Because, in fact, you were the driver, not Ashton Price, right? No. Weren't you the driver? Yes. So you were looking to benefit yourself at the expense of Ashton Price, right? You could say that, yes. A man who you were close to, right? Yes. A man who you supported as an up-and-coming rapper, right? Yes. A man who looked up to you as an investor and someone who, together, you all were going to make it to the big time of rap, right? Yes. You lied on the man, right? Yes. And I took it upon myself to tell the agent that I lied. Ain't no one busted me. I came forward myself and told him. Or is it because somebody else told them that you were the driver before you told them? No, I told them. Ain't nobody put you in a pinch? Ain't nobody told them. I told them. So if Mr. Woods and Mr. Ollinger's notes say otherwise, they are lying, right? I guess so. I know I came forward first and told them that he was not the driver. I was. They didn't ask me. I told them.